So got up this morning. Of course, this morning I did a couple other videos, but got up early, and after I did my first two videos, I decided that we were going to put fence in. So it's starting to look like the way we want it. And so our fence started up here, and so this was a fence we already had, and went ahead and got it put in. And would have ran some more if I had some more posts, but right now I don't. So we got, here's one gate. So this gate, I think I've got the 16-foot cattle panels. I think what I'm going to do is just build a frame around this panel, and we're going to use it as a gate right here. And then I got another one that I'm probably going to use for the in-between pastures. So basically, I'll go this way. So basically this is what it's going to look like. Bug is trying to get me to not jet this way and go back, because she wants to be able to put some stuff out here, which is fine. We'll probably do that one day. She wants me to go straight this way with it, but this right here will be where it cuts off for second pasture. It's not going to be real big, but it's going to be big enough for now. And if I have to, I'll just leave the gate open and they can go between both pastures, but we'll get to that eventually. So this right here, we're just doing, we had this fence left over from the other property, and I'm gonna go through and I gotta go through, stake some places down just to keep them down, and then I gotta fix some holes. There's some holes here, there, and everywhere, but stake that down. Now, like right here, here's a big hole I gotta fix. The pony minds the fence pretty well, so she'll be used to it. The goats will be used to it. They've minded it pretty good. Only problem I've had over the years was they like to stand on the fence and pull it down, so we'll see if they'll do that or not. But because before they would stand on it and it would push the fence over, so I had enough T-posts, short ones, so that way I could do the T-post here on the flexible posts, and those are going to hold that all up. But basically went all the way down, made it as wide as we can get it, so that way all of that up there to down here will be open to them. They'll be able to eat on the grass. Hopefully they won't kill the grass. There should be a big enough area that they shouldn't kill it. There's not too many of them. And I think, I don't know if it was said, but I think we're downsizing goats. So we'll basically just have a pony out here. And chickens, we'll have chickens and stuff, so they'll be roaming around out here. So here was where we're tying in our our main gate from the road, and this was an old telephone pole, whatever, that was laying on the property. So I cut it up and utilized 8 foot of it to make a sturdy post there. So the fence that's already up there, I've got to take it down, basically peel it back, and then it's going to wrap around and come up here to this post and tie into that. All the kids helped out today. We've been running around, just kind of doing things here or there, but what I got to do first is I got to get the holes fixed, and then once we get the holes fixed in that fence, then I gotta put fence on that gate so it seals up the holes in it. And for now, all I'm going to do is just on that gate up there, all I'm going to do is just tie that cattle panel to the 2 posts, because we're not going to be running in and out of it right this moment. Eventually I'll frame it in, get it set up so it's there, and we can utilize it as a gate. And let's see, but yeah, they have all this up in here in the trees. We got to clear out some of these cedars, and then I don't know if we'll get rid of the goats before then, probably not, but the goats will come in and start cleaning up some of the vines and stuff around trees, so they'll eat all that up. They won't eat cedars. I guess there isn't very many animals that'll eat cedar trees. But we are starting to establish a pasture, which is very exciting. But fence is expensive, and we're budgeting as we can. So I still have a roll of fence over here. So when we first moved here, we bought originally 2 rolls of 330-foot fence, and it's just the woven. And so I still got quite a bit here that we're going to run that way. I might run this at an angle still. I don't know. I got to figure out where Bug wants to run it, because she's got some plans for out here. For maybe we'll probably, because I was telling her that we might move the fire pit and stuff, and she don't want to move it, which I like it out here. And if the fence is, you know, on this side and we can leave this here, that'd be nice. We can still do our fires out here, and of course that'll keep it out of the trees and stuff, like where I wanted it. I wanted it up near the house where we can be closer to the house, but that ain't a big deal. But slowly establishing what we're doing on these posts. So I just jammed that one in there and then tied that one in down there. This one I was going to weld, but my my leads didn't come all the way out, and then I thought, oh, I got my generator. Well, it's not the right plug, but this one I welded, and it stuck in there solid. So, and eventually, I don't know, we might tie in a different setup here. Over here, I don't know, like the same thing, I might tie in a different setup, but for now this is what's going to work and be functional. Plus I'm gonna have a gate hanging off of this one, so with that gate hanging off of it, it'll put some tension on this post, and that'll help with the tension on that, which there wasn't much tension on that, but it's, I mean, it's good and tight. Let's see, I don't know. So yeah, it's, I mean, it's pretty tight. So that's the way we want it. And to do the woven fence, you got to stretch it. That one I might retension up here, but I don't know if I'm going to worry too much about it. This one should be, yeah, pretty tight. And I know they might need to be a little tighter, but, and the fence up there that we did originally when we moved in, I tightened it by hand because I didn't have time to go around and tension all of the fence, because we were moving in within a couple days and I had to get the fence put up. That's why sections of this you can see where it's bowing in, and I mean, it's all loose. So, but our animals do pretty good mining fences that we have. But when I did these, I only put a few nails in to tie them down. So all I have to do is pop the nails out, retension it, and we can go from there. Because like I said, we only had a few days. I had to throw up something quick, and we came out here and just stretched it by hand just to get animals here, because we were putting in fence, we had to get the animals out here, get them put in here. And this was all overgrown when we first moved out here too. It was all overgrown, but since this is a small area, they've eaten it all. And we've just been feeding hay anyway, because it's been through the winter. I mean, not much growing anyway, but our hope is that some stuff will start growing back up in here, because it is kind of open and we've been throwing enough hay in here. Hopefully it'll kind of reseed, I guess, and sprout up some new stuff. Works pretty good. But and then up here where the shipping container is, I got to build the lean-to off of it, so they have somewhere to go for shelter. And then I think a little part of it I'm going to use for parking my tractor in for the time being, while we get our house built and I get a lean-to off the side of it, and then I can park it up there. And it'll be out of the weather, but all in all, been a very successful day with getting our fence in, and it's looking really good. Our drive is starting to take shape for coming up through here and going down and around, and it'll be just a giant loop that goes down and around. Like I said before, most of this up here in between the trees will be garden beds. We're just gonna build as we can. And I mean, when you're trying to live off grid and save money, you gotta do things little by little instead of spending a bunch of money, unless you got a bunch of money to spend. But budget for it, and just keep moving along as we can, and eventually we will get this pasture all fenced in. And once it's done, it'll be awesome. We're gonna start in the back part of the pasture. We're gonna start mowing that down, getting it set up, probably do some tilling and stuff, getting a track made, because it don't take much money to make a track. Get the tractor out, tiller out, till all that up, get some berms put in, get some jumps put in, and then I'll have a track that goes all the way around our whole property. So we'll have a pretty good fun area to play around in, and also have enough for a few animals out here, which will be nice, because we're wanting to get a cow, wanting to get a milk cow. So we'll see how all that turns out and how we do. But just like we said before, take step by step, get done what you can, and just keep chugging along. So, but that's gonna be it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and as always, thanks for watching. God bless you.